Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for Friday, February 17th, 2012. It is currently 7:17 a.m. and we are very mild throughout the northern mid-Atlantic with temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 30s over the interior, especially over northeastern Pennsylvania and the Hudson River Valley, to the lower to mid 40s along the coast, especially the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area. Foggy conditions are in place throughout the region with the visibility falling anywhere between a half a mile and a mile in many locations, which is having an impact on your airports and roadways, so take some time when you're traveling out there. The good news is that the fog is going to lift, and when that fog lifts, a wonderful afternoon can be expected with scattered cloud cover and temperatures rising into the mid to upper 40s over the interior and lower 50s along the coast. Going to be a wonderful day in New York City Central Park and around Philadelphia if you're going to visit a museum. It's going to be wonderful out there with temperatures in the lower 50s, perfect conditions for a mid-February day. But there's a lot of talk about a winter storm. Well, you know my thoughts on this winter storm. I have not been impressed with it. I have not been hyping it. And I certainly don't think it's going to be a major winter storm for the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. I'm going to show you why, and quite frankly, I'm going to show you why the 0Z model guidance, the latest model guidance, is now saying pretty much no storm for New York City and Philadelphia, limited impacts if any. First, we're going to start with the water vapor satellite picture over the Pacific. And the reason why I'm showing this is because if you don't know what's going on in the Pacific, how can you possibly know what's going to happen along the East Coast? Because after all, what's happening in the Pacific influences what happens on the East Coast. And what we have developing is a strong storm slamming into the Canadian coast and the northwestern coast of the United States. And that's important. I've been bringing up this feature for several days now. When you have a trough, a strong storm slam into the northwestern coast, it forces the entire 500 millibar pattern to the east. That's why I have been constantly saying that this storm is not a major threat for the New York City metropolitan area and a limited threat, if any, for the Philadelphia metropolitan area, because the low pressure track has to track east, not north, because the 500 millibar pattern is forced east. It doesn't allow blocking. It doesn't allow for a full phase. So that's why this is so important, because now we can finally sample this storm and see it moving into North America, and as a result the models are picking up on this and suppressing this storm to the south. Now, by the way, this is our storm, and notice all the moisture is being pulled in from the tropical Pacific right into the Gulf Coast, producing heavy rain over the Gulf Coast. Now, this is the eastern United States water vapor satellite picture, and you can see all the moisture being drawn up from the Gulf of Mexico. You can see our storm starting to develop over Texas. Now, this is the polar disturbance that is diving south. Notice this disturbance is moving much faster than the subtropical disturbance, and that's important because this disturbance is going to drive through the northern mid-Atlantic on Saturday night, which means that by the time our subtropical disturbance reaches the eastern seaboard, this disturbance is over the Canadian Maritimes, which means we have a northwesterly flow. I'm going to show you why in the model guidance that's so important. So when we look at the infrared satellite picture and the 500 millibar pattern overlaid, this is from the Penn State UL website, by the way. Notice the weather pattern. With this storm moving in, this ridge is shifted east towards the northern plains. So this upper level low and upper level trough is shifted towards the Canadian Maritimes. Now, if this pattern, if this ridge was in place over the Canadian Rockies, let's say on Saturday night, this would be a completely different forecast with the potential for a major winter storm. But it's not. In fact, this ridge has never been forecasted to remain over the Rockies. It's been forecasted to shift towards the plains. And that's important because that shifts the entire storm complex to the east. So when we look at the model guidance, we're using the GFS model guidance this morning, but really you can use the European model guidance, Canadian, even the latest NAM model guidance. They all pretty much show the same thing. High pressure will be in control for today into tomorrow with tranquil weather conditions and mild weather conditions. Temperatures in the lower 50s over portions of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Now, as we move towards Sunday, notice that on Sunday morning we remain dry. By Sunday afternoon, look where we are at. The trough is shifted east. We have a northwesterly flow, which means that our moisture is suppressed to the south. We have dry air building over portions of the Hudson River Valley, Connecticut, New York City, northeastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, and that suppresses our precipitation shield. So what that means is that the bulk of the lifting and the bulk of the precipitation is going to be focused over the southern mid-Atlantic, basically to the south of Philadelphia. Now I just want to zoom in a little bit on the GFS guidance here. This is for Sunday evening. Now this is important, okay, and the reason why is this. Clearly New York City misses out on here. Maybe a few isolated scattered showers, but that's about it. Philadelphia, though, is a different story. Now, northeastern Pennsylvania remains high and dry. Northern New Jersey, Connecticut, the Hudson River Valley, this is the same on all model guidance. However, Philadelphia and southern New Jersey is a little bit trickier. You see, the northern edge of the precipitation shield will move into the Philadelphia metro, especially to the south of the Philadelphia metro. We're talking about Atlantic City, Wildwood, Cape May, those locations. The question is, how fast does the cold air build in? You see, what we have to wait for is that this low pressure blows up off the North Carolina coast and moves east-northeast, and that's going to draw the cold air south. So what I'm expecting is initially the precipitation starts off as rain with temperatures falling from the 40s into the upper 30s, and towards the end of the storm, as cold air filters in towards the coast, that rain will change over to snow, and moving in towards the end of this storm, as the storm starts to exit, we get enough lifting here along the southern New Jersey coast to produce a little bit of accumulation. Now, I'm a little bit aggressive here on the forecast for this snowfall. Right now, I'm having a forecast of 2 to 4 inches of snow, mostly on grassy surfaces over extreme southern New Jersey. And then for the Philadelphia metro, 1 to 3 inches of snow. This goes into the New Jersey coast, like around Atlantic City, and goes back as far west as Lancaster and York, Pennsylvania, with, again, the majority of this snowfall on grassy and cold surfaces. And as we move further north into central New Jersey and around Allentown, a trace to maybe an inch. Now, this is an aggressive forecast. I'm kind of hedging my bets on the precipitation shield being a little bit more expansive than what's being currently forecasted. Given that, I can certainly see where even much of the Philadelphia metropolitan area sees nothing more than a trace of snow with some rain showers on Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. As far as the New York City metropolitan area, nothing. Zero, zip, zilch. No impacts whatsoever from this storm, okay? I want to stress that again. No impacts from this storm whatsoever based on the latest guidance and, quite frankly, based on the observations seen on the water vapor satellite picture. I just don't see it happening. It's not setting up that way. I expect Sunday to remain dry for the most part for much of the New York City metropolitan area. Maybe Sunday evening we might see a snow flurry or rain shower. And again, for the Philadelphia metropolitan area, this is not a major snow event whatsoever, but keep an eye on a few snow showers and a brief period of light snow late Sunday evening. Again, with most of the accumulation on cold surfaces and not on your roadways. Going back to the forecast, once the storm exits, high pressure will be in control for Monday and Tuesday with mild temperatures rising into the 40s once again and lower 50s along the coast. So any snowfall that does fall will melt off rapidly. And then we're going to keep an eye on another cold front moving through on Wednesday with the potential for widespread moderate to heavy rainfall. And then high pressure returns for Thursday with mild conditions once again, with temperatures in the upper 30s to mid 40s, mild for this time of year, and temperatures remaining above normal. So that is your forecast discussion for today. Again, this storm on Sunday does not look like a big deal, and quite frankly not worth all the hype that you've been hearing on the news and around various weather sources on the internet. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino, and you can trust on following the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Stay safe out there.